Hello and welcome back to the Metropole Grid. My name is Andre and thanks so much for tuning in. I just wanted to announce real quick that tonight, it'll be tonight by the time this video goes up, between the hours of 8:30 and 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be streaming on Twitch. You can find me at twitch.tv/MetropoleGrid, and I'll be online for about, I think it's going to be around 2.5 hours, and I'm gonna be playing some Jinteki.net games, and of course streaming it with commentary, and I'm hoping it's gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah, so I am aware that this is pretty short notice in terms of if you want to schedule your day or your evening around to see this, and I apologize for that. But don't worry too much. This is my first stream, so I'm kind of using it mostly just to iron out any kinks and get comfortable with the whole setup. So it might not be the best stream, in truth be told, but it's gonna be important because we gotta iron this stuff out. Now again, yeah, this is the exciting part, is that I'm going to be streaming now every Thursday. That's one thing I'm going to be doing. I'll be jumping around in the evening, again around 8:30, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard, and I'll be streaming for a couple hours, playing some Jinteki.net games, playing some Netrunner. So if you can't make it this week, hopefully I'll be able to see you next week if you can drop by. Also, the gameplay footage that I'm going to be streaming, I'm going to capture a whole bunch of that and cut it up and be uploading that onto this channel. So again, if you can't make it, you'll be able to see some sort of recorded footage of that, and that'll be here on this channel. So hopefully everybody has something for them. If you can't watch the live stuff, which will be fun, like I encourage you to come to the live stuff because there's chat, we can talk, we can do deck building together, you can ask questions, it should be fun. But if you can't, there's always the recorded stuff, so that's cool too. So yeah, again, that's tonight, 8:30 to 9, and if that doesn't work for you, just Thursday evenings, 8:30 to 9 Eastern Standard Time. Sweet. To make sure this video is not entirely useless to the majority of people who will see it after 8:30 to 9 o'clock tonight, let's do some deck building. This is a deck that I have built like a couple days ago, basically in my head, that I wanted to play as one of the first decks that I'm going to play. As I promised, I wanted to highlight some of the new cards, the new data pack, so Martial Law specifically. So we're going to be building a deck around 2 cards from Martial Law. The first one is here, Anson Rose, and the second is Mouseless, which are 2 Wayland cards. So we're going to be building a Wayland deck, and guess shall we start, huh? So, yeah, this is Anson Rose. It's a card that gets advancement tokens that you can use on ice. I think Anson Rose is really good for 2 things. Firstly, it allows a lot of really not so good ice to be somewhat better. So you betcha we're going to play some Woodcutter. That's a really bad piece of ice. I'll pull that up in a second once we get to the deck building. Now, the second thing about Anson Rose that makes me really, I really like about Anson Rose is that he gets advancement counters for doing nothing, which is actually pretty rare in Netrunner. There's only, I think, 2 cards that do that. And why that's good is that there's a card called Trick of Light that lets you fast advance. You can fast advance 3/2 or 3/1 agendas. So we're going to build a deck around that. Mouseless is another piece of ice, which is just good with or without Anson Rose, and we're going to add some other cards to support it. So we're going to build a Wayland fast advance deck with advanceable ice. Or we're going to try to, at least, right? Cool. So we choose our identity. I think there's 2 big identities we could be choosing between. We're not going to kill any, we're really not going to be able to kill, considering we're going to have all these combo parts in it with the fast advance thing. So maybe Builder of Nations, which was a sort of obvious choice, considering it benefits from advanceable ice, is not where we want to go. I think 12 influence is not a lot, and I really don't care about the meat damage. I thought the obvious choice was Titan Transnational, just because fast advancing Atlases is really good, because then you can kind of chain them with Trick of Light. So we're going to start with Titan. 17 influence is also really good. I think this is a good way to go. There's an argument for Blue Sun. Doesn't work so well with fast advance, but it has money, I guess. But hey, let's start with Titan. Okay, cool. None of these things loaded. This is a thing that happens. Whether I edit this out or not, let's try this again. Oh boy. I don't know why this happens. It just sometimes happens on NetrunnerDB. Titan Transnational. There we go. Cool. All right. So we need an agenda suite. No question about it. We're going to include 3 Project Atlas. It's a 3/2 that gets an advancement counter on it for free because of the Titan Transnational ability. If you're not familiar with Titan Transnational, it says when you score an agenda, get an agenda counter on that agenda. So Project Atlas lets you tutor things for free. So we're going to be fast advancing, and Wayland can largely only fast advance face-up agendas, because we're going to be using a thing called what is it called, actually? There's an asset. I don't know what it's called. Oh boy. There's an asset that's called Mumbag Construction Co. And Mumbag Construction Company says, when your turn begins, place one advancement on Mumbag Construction Company, and then for 2 credits, it allows you to move an advancement token from Mumbag to a face-up card. And that means if you have face-up agendas, which is a thing Wayland can do, you can actually fast advance some agendas. So let's get some face-up agendas in there. I think Oaktown Renovation is the best face-up agendas, so let's get 3 of those. I think we want a 3-5. We probably do want 3-point agendas. We want to put 2 Hollywood renovations. At least with 2 points left over. I still think we want to face up agendas, so that only leaves us with new construction, which is mediocre in this deck. Doesn't have a lot of synergy, but it's a start. So we have an agenda suite of 9 agendas. We are running true 3-pointers, so like lucky accesses could be the game, but we're trying something, aren't we? All right, Anson Rose is the crux of this deck. We're going to put 3 of that guy in there. Free advancement counters. And of course, we're fast advancing, so we get 3 Mumbai Construction Company in it. I think 3 Jackson Howard is pretty good too. And there might be other spots here. I'm not entirely sure what we're going to do with that. Let's move on to operations. Let's start with hedge fund. Hedge fund is really good. So the way that we're going to score a lot of our points in here is Trick of Light. Now, Trick of Light lets you move 2 counters from a card to another installed card that can be advanced. So the idea is that you have credits, or sorry, you have advancement tokens on a piece of ice, or on your Mumbag Construction Company or your Anson Rose, and you can install Project Atlas. You can advance it, and then you can Trick of Light to it, and now you have scored a Project Atlas. Now the Project Atlas has a token, so next turn, if you have 2 advancement counters, you can pull either a Trick of Light or a Project Atlas, and hopefully just start scoring 3-2s from hand. My main idea with this deck is to score 2 2-pointers and then 1 3-pointer. So basically, Trick of Light a Project Atlas, then hopefully Trick of Light the next Project Atlas, or Mumbag Construction Company in Oaktown Renovation, or the one new construction, and then fast advance a 3-5, which is something that's quite possible, but a bit expensive. I think money is going to be the biggest problem with this deck because I have no idea how to make enough money. So we're going to put 3 Trick of Light in. That's 9 influence, so that's kind of the beauty of running Titan. That's actually pretty good. What else are we putting in here? We don't want to put any meat damage, right? Well, we want to put Dedication Ceremony. So Dedication Ceremony is a really, really big deal in this deck. It powers up Anson Rose, which is kind of cute. The idea is that you res Anson, it gets 1 counter, you put Dedication on it. It now has 4 counters. So you really have to respect it, because if you face check into some really bad ice, it can be a problem. I'm thinking ice like Woodcutter, which if you're not familiar, we'll get to it in a second, but it's a really fun piece of ice. Dedication Ceremony specifically is amazing with Mumbag Construction Company, right? Because if you res Mumbay Construction and then you dedicate it, it now has 4 counters on it, which is enough to fast advance a Hollywood renovation from hand. So in theory, you res Mumbad, you dedicate it, so now it has 4 counters, you install Hollywood, you advance, and then you spend 8 to move advancement tokens, and that's how you close the game. So to close the game, you need basically 10 credits and a 3-card combo in hand. Mumbad has to survive 1 turn. It's kind of dodgy, I'll admit that. Yeah, it's kind of dodgy, but that's what we're going to do. It still gives us the ability to advance other things. You can also advance ice with this, which 2 credits for a token is not that bad considering you don't spend a click for it. Like, it's not the worst. I think it's equally as bad as advancing it with clicks and credits. So that's what we're doing with Dedication Ceremony. This is the core of everything we need. I think we would probably want 1 preemptive just to get back our combo pieces, because we need our Trick of Lights in our deck and our Dedication Ceremonies. What else do we want? Upgrades, maybe. Let's get to the ice. So we're going to probably stick to mostly Wayland ice, considering we want advanceable ice. Builder, we might want. But let's see what's good. Changeling is really good in this deck. With Anson, you can basically make it a sentry or a barrier. Firewall is also really good as an advanceable ice. But I'm thinking, because this is a fast advance deck, we're always going to be on either 2 agenda points, 4 agenda points, or have won the game, likely. So I'm thinking actually Hive might be better, considering there's a lot of well, not a lot, but like Anarchs are running David, and Hive is just a bit more annoying to break with things like Spiderweb. I keep calling Paperclip Spiderweb. It's going to be a problem that's just going to happen for a long time. So I'm thinking Hive over Firewall. Maybe it's because I don't like Firewall, but let's just put 2 of these in here for now. Ice Wall, easy 3 of, one of your best cards. Mouseless. Advanceable ice, really good, easy 3 of. If you dedicate your Mouseless, it's up and running right away, so that's really good. All this space ice doesn't work really well. In fact, doesn't work at all with either Mumbai Construction Company, Dedication Ceremony, or Anson Rose, so we're going to avoid that entirely. Shadow is an ice I like more than other people do. It can be advanced, and you just kind of need ice that is advanceable, so let's put 3 of those in. Let's put 3 Woodcutter. This card makes Anson actually pretty scary because if you have an Anson Rose with like 6 advanced encounters on it, or just like 4 advanced encounters, and someone face plants this and they don't have the ability to break sentries, which isn't something people install when they face check against Wayland unless you have like a hostile takeover scored and they're worried of Archer. Woodcutter can do a lot of damage. In fact, can be lethal. Like the idea is you res a Woodcutter, you pump in all your Anson Rose tokens onto it, and then you Mumbai Construction Company and you pay like 6 more or whatever to get this to. You're gonna spend a lot of money on it, that's for sure. But if it's lethal, right? I don't expect that ever to happen, but it's kind of cute. So that's that. How much ice do we have? We have 12, 13, 14, 15. We should have one more. I think we have a flex slot. We probably want a small code gate, maybe an Enigma or something like that. You can put in things like Wendigo, but Wendigo is... it's a bit positional, and I don't like that, considering most of our game is going to rely on rushing out an Anson Rose, so yeah, maybe not. What are we at? We're at 43 cards, so we need about 6 more, so let's just put an Enigma in. No, let's wait for now. One card I put into this deck just to test it, and I think it's really bad, and I shouldn't be doing this, but when I built it, I thought it was cute, was Neo Tokyo Grid. So if you put this on top of your Mumbad or your Anson, it's basically a credit per turn. You're playing 2 influence for basically a pad campaign that you can protect, which sounds really, really, really bad, but I'll be honest, when I built this deck, I had no idea how to spend influence. I really didn't. And this seemed like a fun thing to do, so we're testing it. I'm aware this is bad. I know people can argue that you might as well just run this upgrade, what is it called, Expo Grid, but Expo Grid's easier to trash. That was entirely my decision, and I had spare influence, and Expo Grid was easier to trash. So yeah, maybe you should go Expo Grid. Operations. Oh yeah, okay, so I think there's some cool operations you can do. I'm trying to work commercialization in this deck. I think my flex slots in terms of economy, there's 2 routes to go. One is more combo and more fun, and the other one's just commercialization. With the fact that we're using Trick of Light is I don't expect our ice to have an absurd amount of advancements on it. Like, it'd be nice if we res an ice wall and dump like 9 advancements on it, and hopefully the ice wall doesn't get like knifed or something. And then commercialization becomes a dope econ card. At worst, if you dedicate a piece of ice, commercialization is the same as what's it called, Beanstalk royalties. So it's kind of a hard include. What I thought would be more fun, remember, we're trying to have fun here, right? What I thought would be more fun is Grendel Refinery. Because not only can I move tokens with Mumbai Construction Company to Grendel Refinery and technically make a profit, but also you can install Grendel Refinery, you can res it, you can dedicate it, and then you can ship it away. And that's 11 credits on your turn. It's your entire turn, but that's 11 credits. And that seems like a really, really, really cute combo. And I'm kind of interested in trying to fire that. I think if one of those fires, and we just don't have to res a hive all game, we're probably in a really good spot. What's really important to know is that I think like half of our ice makes us money. So I'm hoping money's not going to be too much of a problem. Don't worry, guys. We have Neo Tokyo Grid. We'll be fine. 2 more card slots, 1 influence left. I think what I'm going to put in here, because I don't know how to use the last influence, is just 1 magnet because it's a code gate and it ends the run, and that's kind of cute. And then lastly, for the fun, let's put in, what's this called? Oh, I have to look it up because I'm not going to know the name. That card where you, not liquidation, but it's a similar idea. Not buyback. Oh man, what is it? It's you trash a card and you gain money if it has advanced encounters on it. Back channels. Hey, so last card is 1 back channels. The idea is you trash an installed card in a server and gain 3 cards for every advancement token on it. So if at any point in the game you have an Anson Rose that just has an absurd amount of credits on it, you just back channels it and maybe make a lot of money. Even a Mumbad's Construction Company, but I don't think you want to do that because that's how you win the game. All right. This is Build-A-Bank, which is the new archetype. It's a fast events Wayland archetype. You're going to see it at top tables real soon. Don't worry. So just to go over real quick, game plan is get an end the run ice, which we have some of, but get an Anson Rose behind it early, hopefully early. Then have counters build up, just so running other services taxing. Then we're gonna trickle light an Atlas, hopefully trickle light another Atlas. Either that or we get our Mumbai Construction Company online, and then fast advance out of Hollywood renovation. I think this is possible. I really do. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully, I'll see you tonight, if not next week, and we'll be trying to see how bad this deck actually is, or how good it is, rather. We'll also be playing other decks, so I'm gonna play the Geist I've been playing in the competitive season so far. It's a really good Geist deck. It's in fact mostly Dodge Pong's Geist deck, and if you don't know who Dodge Pong is, he's a really cool dude. And probably pull out a Blue Sun I've been playing recently, but we're gonna try some fun stuff. So this is where we're gonna start, just to give you an idea of the lighthearted nature of this event. Thanks so much for watching. I'll hopefully see you tonight. Ciao.